dad was a freshman at A&T when he participated in the Woodward sit-ins with 3 of his college classmates, Ezel Blair, Franklin McCain, and Joseph McNeil. My mother later participated when she was here at Beatty College, and along with other business students. My dad, with his 3 other classmates, brainstormed in the dorm room over in Scott Hall over at A&T, and was just tired of seeing the injustices of what was going on in Greensboro. And through that brainstorm, they walked down to Aurora County with careful planning and pulled it off. Well, for me, it gave me a great significance as far as having my father do something so significant that impacted the world. It gave me a sense of pride, and it also gave me a sense that I want to be civic-minded and also do something that will help my community. Sometimes you might say it might felt like it was overwhelming. I might not have been on a world scale to help my community that greatly, but it just gave me the fortitude to want to do something for my community. He set a great example for myself and my sister to have a sense of community pride. Sometimes it might have been overwhelming because it was something that was seen around the world, but that's what it did for me. I realized that he was my father, and it was something that I did not broadcast out. Some people knew, but it came at a significant time in my life when I was a freshman in college over at Wake Forest, where one of my classmates asked me to come into his class, which they were discussing what had happened here in Greensboro, and wanted me to have insight on what he did. And I had known my father all along, but as a parent, I kind of didn't look at him like the event was that great. Like I said, I had a classmate over there he wanted me to come over and talk to his class, which I did, readily agreed, and went in and talked about it. But I came out of the event feeling like I didn't do a good job. I felt like I didn't give him good insight. I felt like what you might say a substitute teacher at that time, which, not saying substitute teaching is bad, but I just didn't feel like I just gave him good insight. And that's when I went back and I called my father that day, and I asked him to come over and talk to the class, which he readily agreed to do, and that's about the type of person he was. He came over to the class and gave a more intimate view of what the event was about, and it was not secondhand for me. And that day, I looked at him totally different, because that day I became a student, and I looked at him quite different. It was an impact, especially on my father. Him being 18 and raising a family, young and still trying to finish school, being a black male at this time and participating in the sit-ins kind of put him at, sometimes I would say, as a disadvantage. he was the only one that stayed around here in Greensboro. And like I said, being a young father and trying to finish school at the time was a great challenge, and it was a heavy burden to carry. My father was a very loving person, and he wasn't much that he wouldn't do. He was a family oriented. He would do anything for his family, which in his later years, he took care of my grandparents before their death. My mother had a quite different role. She was able to find great employment here, but I guess you would say there were two sides that you would look at. Well, he did get the opportunity to get a job that was fulfilling to him, and but staying around here and being around the move kind of impacted him more. Impacting my mother, knowing him just made her want to participate, but the climbing around here, you wanted to participate. And my mother was one that, yes, she was a Belle, but she was raised in a strict background, and she was worried what her mother would say by going down and participating. She had a younger brother, so she felt that if she took her younger brother down there, my grandmother would not be so mad. She kind of covered her bases, but she knew that at the time, being a Belle, you couldn't just go anywhere by yourself unescorted. So it gave her a cover to go down there and participate.